Hey, what's up guys, it's Apollo Uchiha here, back with the next part of What If Naruto Had Asuras Memories. Now before continuing this part, I have a kind of a bad news. Well, you see, I was planning to upload the first part of new series that I wrote down. You remember the Nine Tails Kushina one and neglected by Minato one? Well, I kind of lost my notebook, so if I don't find it, then I have to, write down it again all over. So yeah, that is the bad news. But the good news is that I will be uploading a few more movies, and some of them are going to be your ideas that you suggested as well. So yeah, no worries there. And other than that, yeah, just enjoy this part for a while, please. And if you haven't, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel, then please do if you like the content of the channel. And without further ado, let's continue with our story. Previously, Uchiha Itachi. Quickly Naruto seals everything away, prepared to make a getaway. Kami, he even was polite enough to knock the door, thought Naruto to himself. The blonde opened the door and, as expected, was greeted by the sight of the two Nukenins. According to what Jiraiya had told him earlier, Itachi's partner was Kisame Hoshigaki. Naruto-kun, we've come for you, said Itachi. Kisame grinned, exposing his shark-like teeth. Can I cut off his legs? He won't be able to escape then, and will certainly be easier to capture. Itachi didn't answer, and instead drove his foot into Naruto's stomach. Instead of flying back from the kick, the Uzumaki dispelled in a burst of smoke. It's a Kage Bunshin, noted Itachi, who observed the curtains in front of the open windows to the balcony swaying. Despite there being no wind, the Akatsuki pair made their way to the balcony, where they saw the original chest vaulting over the wall of the main inn's backyard and entering a huge clearing in the forest surrounding the town. The two gave chase, clearing. The Uzumaki spun around, knowing that the Shadow Clone would have stalled the two S-rank shinobi for long. Of all times, his sensei was away doing research. What rotten luck he had, he thought. He knew that a fight would be inevitable, so he decided to bring the battle to a more suitable place that wouldn't cause as much destruction to the town property. He would have to attract Jiraiya's attention somehow. Itachi voiced, Naruto-kun, why do you run from us? Come with us willingly and Kisame will not have to drag you away by force. Naruto retaliated, I'm not having any of your good cop and bad cop bullshit. I know you're here for Mabichu, and you're not having him. Oh, it seems that we won't have to capture you without a fight. Let's go, Kisame. The blue-faced man charged at the blonde and swung his sword. This fight will not be an easy one. Lend me your power, Kurama, Naruto thought. He received an acknowledgement grunt as the Kitsune got to work amassing chakra and natural energy. At the last 2 seconds, Naruto's eyes flew open and he dodged the sword completely with his speed, Samehada crashing into the ground and obliterating the grass. Easy. Eh? You're pretty fast for a cannon, Kisame remarked as he executed a kick which Naruto evaded once again. Grabbing Kisame's extended foot, Naruto lifted the Nukenin without much effort and tossed him away. Katon, Gokyaku no Jutsu. Naruto intoned the Kirin Nukenin swung his sword out in front of him, cleaving the fireball in two. So that sword absorbs chakra, asked Naruto. To no one in particular, Kisame laughed. Indeed, and it likes the taste of your chakra very much. Suiton. Exploding water shock wave, Kisame yelled from before expelling a great volume of water from his mouth. As it surged towards him, Naruto's body underwent multiple changes due to his rise in 6-path Sage Chakra. He sent his 4 truth-seeking balls into the incoming wave and caused it to disappear without a trace. What? Kisame cried as he witnessed his Suiton jutsu being negated. Like his fellow swordmen before him, he was shocked by this onset as well. The 4 Gudodama returned to orbit behind Naruto's back. Since your sword loves my chakra so much, it can have it, shouted Naruto, who formed the clone seal. A huge lump of smoke erupted into the air, and from its hundred of Shadow Clone flew at Kisame with swirling spheres in their hands. Rasen Gun. Sage Art, massive Rasengan barrage, the Shadow Clones screamed. Kisame waved his sword in front of him as a shield. Before Itachi could have even warned him, Samehada absorbed and dispelled all the Shadow Clones and their Rasengan, and the more he did so, the sword got heavier. By the time the last Shadow Clone came flying at him, his sword had already been turned to stone from the natural energy. Itachi leapt to his side and quickly conjured his Susanoo, an orange chakra construct which blocked the last Shadow Clone attack. Orange? I thought it was red. Correct me in the comment section, guys. Anyway, On to the story. Samehara. Kisame lamented, "She will pay for this, Naruto Uzumaki." The original formed two hands is Mokuton. Laughing Buddha's jutsu. Two giant hands erupted from the ground and attempted to restrain Itachi Susanoo. Mokuton. How is he able to manipulate the Shodai Hokage's wood style? Itachi wondered in amazement. Naruto sensed a spike of chakra in Itachi's right eye, and given their distance, he knew that it was going to be long-range technique. A trail of blood leaked down the Uchiha's eyes. Hamaterus. Black flames flew out of his eyes at him at high speeds, causing him to whip out his shakujo and send it forward to intercept them. Mokuton. Wood Dragon Jutsu, Naruto uttered. Since Itachi's could read his lips, the Uchiha's eyes widened in surprise. This was an iconic technique of the first to subdue the Biju by absorbing their chakra, and he had to make sure that it didn't touch his Susanoo. He noticed a presence of chakra beneath the ground and knew that the dragon was about to strike. The moment it burst out of the ground, Itachi formed a huge sake jar and slammed it down to the dragon. As he did so, the liquid spilled from the jar like a blade, and when it flew on the dragon, it was sucked into the jar. Naruto analyzed this and realized that the sword was clearly not made out of chakra, or it would have been able to absorb by his dragon. And also it was one equipped with a powerful Fuinjutsu given the way it sucked the dragon into the jar. Very good, Naruto-kun. You are one of the few to actually force me to use Toketsu Blade, said Itachi. For no apparent reason, the Uchiha then winced and closed his eye, which caused his Susanoo to fade away. The Uzumaki said, I see, so your overusing your eyes will cause you pain, am I correct? Kisame was not amused. This kid is really something else, Itachi. Kurama, ready to go? A huge amount of chakra was pumped into Naruto's system and caused it to flood and burst out of his body, taking the shape of the feared Biju. This is bad, Kisame. I can sense Jiraiya coming soon, and if Naruto-kun knows the tail beast ball. As if on cue, a high-pitched sound echoed across the clearing as chakra was gathering into a purple ball. Though Naruto didn't have much experience making a Biju Dama, he had let Kurama take control of his body to do so. If they were in car, Kurama would be the metaphorical driver while Naruto was the passenger. Itachi, you deserve this after what you did to Sayuri-chan. Naruto shouted over the roar of the forming tail beast ball. Thank you for taking care of her. I leave her to you, Naruto-kun. Itachi replied. Just as the blonde released the ball, the two scattered into water and crows. The Bijudama sailed harmlessly away in the distance, exploring within the forest. Shit, they escaped, thought Naruto. Just then Jiraiya arrived at the clearing. I felt the Kyuubi chakra being released. Were you fighting someone? They are gone. Naruto deadpanned. It was Itachi Uchiha and his Kisame Hoshigaki. He was then hit with a sudden sense of foreboding. Why could he sense Sayuri's chakra approaching him? Said Uchiha burst out of the forest, having detected the surge of the Kyuubi chakra and witnessed the Biju Dama being detonated. She had assumed that worst and rushed in the direction of Naruto. She saw that Uzumaki was safe and with his master Jiraiya, and noticed that Itachi was gone. Naruto was worried about her reaction since he knew about the trauma her brother had caused her. Itachi! Sayuri hollered. She fell to her knees on the grass and punched the floor in anger, making mounds of dirt fly. Why? Why? I was so close! She screamed in rage. She had to chance to kill her brother and avenge the clan, but she had missed it completely. And how did Naruto driven him off? Was he that strong? Naruto was worried about her mental state. It didn't take his negative emotion sensing to tell him that she was clearly furious, frustrated, and filled with self-loathing of her inability to slay her brother. Terrifyingly, she suddenly went quiet. The Uchiha stood up with resolve and determination smoldering in her eyes. She was about to put herself through hell to become strong enough to stop her brother. Her chakra had flared due to her agitation, and that deep hatred in her soul caused the grass around her to wither and the soil to be pushed away. Her chakra presence, though not as much as Naruto, was equally potent and was in fact 10 times more intimidating. Sayuri's mind skipped. Indra smiled as he witnessed the Uchiha before him. Her will crumbled away and succumbing to the darkness that had enraptured him before. Come, Uchiha Sayuri, I can give you greater strength, quacks the Otsutsuki. The Uchiha looked at him. I don't want your strength, Indra. I want to do this on my own. The man gave a hollow laugh. You won't advance far with your dojutsu without my assistance, Sayuri. There are many things you still have to learn, especially if you wish to surpass my brother's incarnate. Fine. Show me, Indra. Gladly. The Otsutsuki narrowed his eyes within her mind. She still had feelings for the Uzumaki. It would be troublesome for him to eradicate those feelings so he could corrupt her. completely. Well, at least she was a step closer to the darkness and would naturally be completely engulfed within it in time. Patience would be something he must have. Reality. The Uzumaki shivered in her presence and felt a chill run down his spine. He was actually afraid of this side of her, but was willing to reach out to her and comfort her. Alas, that was not to be, as she had other plans. In an instant, she took off in the direction of the leaf. Jiraiya observed the behavior, and the moment she left, she asked, "That was Uchiha Sayuri, the younger sister of Itachi, am I right?" Naruto nodded. "She is. In fact, she's my teammate." The Toe Sage perverted side returned. "She's actually quite hot. I would totally bang her if she was older," he said with a lecherous grin. The Uzumaki turned to face his sensei, who noticed a lack of reply but saw his right forearm glowing orange. With a rapid build-up of Asura's chakra, the glare the blonde sent him was enough to burn holes through him. "Oops, sorry Naruto, I didn't know that you liked her." The Uzumaki blushed. "It's not what you think." Jiraiya chuckled. "Eh? I know that expression when I see it. You're in love, kid. Just like Minato and Kushina. Allow me to teach you, for I am expert in this field." Naruto scoffed. "Enough bullshit. You're not even married. What could you teach me, Rosanin?" Jiraiya sighed. "Many things, kid. Many things." Monday, 21st July. It had been 4 days since the clash with the Akatsuki duo, though Naruto had ample time to work on his new abilities and even create strong sword seals for his sword, as they would inconvenient to carry around. They still had yet to locate the Slug Princess. Currently, the master and student were in Tanazuka town, a town about half a day journey from the Leaf. Festivities were ongoing in the village, another possible hotspot for Tsunade. They entered a packed bar in the early evening in an attempt to look for the Sanin, as apart from gambling, she has another voice, drinking. With Sayuri, the Uchiha had been torturing herself for the past 4 days, with training so intense that she refused to stop until she passed out. Under Indra's instructions, she had forcefully and significantly increased the potential of her dojutsu turn, and true to her prodigious nature, Sayuri had gained mastery over a few jutsus and even created one of her own, an S rank in theory, but she yet to put it to practice. She smiled as she donned on a new outfit for yet another day of training. Indra had certainly been right about increasing her power. She loved the taste of it, and it was bound to be sufficient to slay her brother in the future. Her thoughts strayed to her blonde teammate soon. She would be leaving in the pursuit of her brother. It came sooner than she had imagined, and her plan to not cause any heartbreak had questionable progress. The fact that the villagers' elders were about to press the CRA on her wasn't helpful at all. If it all came down to that, she would not show emotion. With Naruto, a blonde with pigtails, and her black-haired assistants were sitting at a table when they noticed the newcomers. "Okami, Konohanin, and even Jiraiya's here. Definitely here for me," muttered Tsunade. "Tsunade Shisho, you should probably sober yourself up before meeting him." Shizune, her assistant, urged. In fact, a few seconds, Jiraiya's eyes swept across the bar and caught sight of his former teammate. Together with the student, the two walked to the table. Tsunade looked up and sat her cup of steak down. "What are you here for this time, Jiraiya?" the Slug Princess asked, as they sat opposite to her and ordered some food to eat. "I'll cut straight to the point. Sarutobi-sensei has stepped down, and after Orochimaru attacked the village Tsunade, they're asking you to be the Hokage," Jiraiya replied to Tsunade. As Tsunade replied to him, "So I heard from the man himself. He came to me with his arms, chakra network destroyed by a powerful Fuinjutsu, asking me to heal them. Someone did quite a number on him." Jiraiya smirked. "That was my student, Uzumaki Naruto, who is here along with me today." "Greetings, Tsunade-hime," said the blonde. "Uzumaki Naruto?" She raised an eyebrow. "He's the cubist Jinchuriki, isn't he?" Jiraiya nodded. "Pfft, what a waste of yon dime to give himself, saving the village from the Nine-Tails. Why would anyone want to be Hokage and take that job? My grandfather Hashirama Senju, my grand-uncle Tobirama Senju, and beyond them all died while bearing the title of Hokage. Sarutobi-sensei was also close to dying against Orochimaru. Why would someone waste their lives to protect those of people you don't even know? Only a fool would want that job," Tsunade remarked. Without warning, the chopstick in Naruto's hand snapped. They were metal chopsticks. Trying to restrain his anger, the blonde said, "Tsunade-hime, do not disrespect the title of Hokage or the men who have held that post and gave their lives to the village to protect it. It's frankly disgusting how you discredit the title of Hokage when you yourself aren't in a position to do so." A drunk, favored, 50-year-old woman transformed as a 20-year-old to maintain a youthful appearance, and to top it all off, with a gambling addiction despite sucking at it. On their research, Naruto had learned much about the Slug Princess from Jiraiya. It did not paint a very pleasant image of her. A giant tick mark appeared on Tsunade's forehead. "What did you say, brat?" she shouted, as she swung her fist at Naruto's face. Naruto's right hand shot up and caught her fist, stopping it from connecting just inches away from his face. Now, Tsunade-hime," Naruto said, his voice going cold. His tone eerily reminded the other occupants of the table of Orochimaru. "You definitely don't want to start an affray in a bar. What will you do if you break the tables, chairs, and cups? With your debts, you'll hardly be able to pay for the damages," stated Naruto. The floor outside the bar busted open and out came a wooden clone. "Let's take this outside, shall we?" With that, Naruto executed a seamless substitution with his clone, bringing the Sannin and himself out into the warming and warm sunset. Shizune and Jiraiya quickly rushed outside in an attempt to stop the fight, but were late. Tsunade growled at the Uzumaki as she cracked her knuckles. How dare he insult her? "Gaki, I will wipe that floor with you if you're insulting me. A little petty, aren't you, to take your anger out on a genin just because he speaks the truth? No matter. You are welcome to try. Personally, I do not think that you are worthy of the position the village has chosen for you, regardless of whatever strength you possess. But even if I don't like it, I still have to bring you back, even if I have to drag you back, Tsunade-hime," Naruto spat. "How about a wager? If I lose, I will go back with you and you will even get this," she offered, pointing at the Shodai's necklace hung around her neck. "If I win, however, you will give me all your money. I promised that no Konohane will come after me ever again." Shizune began. "Shisho, please don't do that. You can't." "Shut up, Shizune. This is my fight. I can't wait to put this brat into his place. Come." Tsunade insisted. Naruto took a deep breath. The moment he exhaled, he disappeared. A loud boom sounded from the point of impact, where he threw a punch. The Sannin had just narrowly managed to bring up her arms to a cross guard. Tsunade took the hit and spun around, launching a low kick. Naruto jumped up over her shoulders and handspringed a landing behind her. She spun around and threw a punch with her left hand. Naruto stepped aside and gripped her forearm with both hands before sliding one quickly across the length of her arm and towards her neck in a chop. Tsunade's right hand shot up and stopped the chop from connecting. Grabbing his left hand as well, with both hands secured, she flung him around to the other side and plunged her chakra-enhanced foot into his stomach, causing him to fly 20 meters away. He tumbled across the floor before rolling to his knees. His hand reached from his ribs to assess the damage. 6 of them were broken from the immediate trauma of her kick. However, they were already mending quickly, and within seconds he stood up normally, as if nothing had happened. Tsunade noticed this, and her eyes went wide. As a skilled medic, she knew that a blow like that would have caused complete shatter to his ribcage in 2 pieces, and he shouldn't have been able to stand after such a fatal impact like that. The kid was easily something else. To possess such an advanced healing factor was reminiscent of the grandfather, Shinobi no Kami herself. The Sannin was pissed off, something Jiraiya could clearly see from the gigantic amount of chakra amassed within her right fist. She was about to unleash a technique that could end a life. Naruto's right fist was the same, glowing bright with orange chakra. "Let's end this, Tsunade-hime." "Agreed," she said. Simultaneously, the two rushed at each other, tearing up the streets as they ran. The distance closed rapidly, and within seconds their fists collided. Orange chakra clashed with the blue of Tsunade's, fought to consume each other. Naruto roared and pumped more of Asuras chakra into his fist, causing it to overpower Tsunade's would-be fatal punch. The Senju was thrown back by a powerful explosion, rocketing into the rock wall of the small town 200 meters away. The Uzumaki hand grew dim as he panted from exhaustion. That much chakra. Inwardly, Jiraiya was happy that his apprentice had been victorious. Tree trunks and branches grew out of the floor near the wall and grabbed Tsunade, gradually rolling her back to where the three were. She was still conscious, something that was unsurprising given her status as the most powerful Kunoichi in the Elemental Nations, alongside with the fact that she was the best Iryonin in the world. "You, Tsunade-hime, I do wish for you to concede and come back with us. What the village needs right now is a strong leader, to bring it from its current destruction and corruption at the hands of the council. You can be that person, and I am mere genin, a 12-13-14-year-old. Can understand that. So why not you, a mature 50-year-old and powerful medic, regarded as the strongest Kunoichi in the world? Life may be treated you harshly by terminating the life of those you loved or deemed precious to you, but regardless, they can still live on in your memories. Their hopes and dreams don't die just because they do. Instead, They are handed down to the next generation to fulfill their dreams for them. I, for one, would like to hold the position of Hokage one day, and you can just hold it for me in the meantime, alright? Namaki and Don couldn't be any happier if you fulfilled their dreams for them. The blonde stretched his hand. Reluctantly, the slug princess took it and was pulled up into a stand position. When she looked at Naruto, she was reminded of her younger brother Namaki and her lover Don, both who wished to become a Hokage but died before they could fulfill it. Her voice became one of determination. Alright, Naruto Uzumaki, I will take the position of Kodaime for the people I love. Tsunade vowed. Naruto turned to Jiraiya and flashed him a smile as he let go of Tsunade's hand. Thank you for being understanding, Tsunade Hime, said Naruto. As for dealing with Orochimaru, when do you have to answer him? Tomorrow afternoon. He will return for my answer and does not want me to have any companions. He promised that he would revive Don and Namaki in exchange for healing his arms, after which he would use his regained power to attack Konoha. You do know you can't do that, right? Even if I didn't know Don or Namaki, I'm sure they wouldn't want to be brought back at the cost of Konoha's safety. Besides, the Edo Tensei really just uses a human sacrifice as a vessel for the spirits of the dead, and Orochimaru can suppress their wills and control their actions. As an Irionin, I'm sure you are aware of the sanctity of life and know that it is unethical to use human sacrifice or bring back the dead, and especially use a human sacrifice to bring back the dead. Naruto deadpanned. Yeah, Tsunade replied sadly. Before she looked up, a vicious grin hung on her face as she declared, I will blow Orochimaru to bits. Naruto laughed, no doubt. Tsunade and the others laughed at that. Tuesday came, 22 July. The sun had formed its place in the sky, signaling that passing of noon. The world's most powerful Konoichi stepped onto the field that she had agreed to meet with Orochimaru. Snake Sanin was already there with his assistant Kabuto. As they noticed the Slug Princess approaching without any companions, they took it as a sign of our agreement and cooperation. Now, Tsunade Hime, I assume you have agreed to our terms, healing my arms and I will bring back your loved ones. Orochimaru said. Tsunade nodded and walked towards him, her hands lighting up with chakra. Just as she reached him, Kabuto suddenly grabbed his master and leapt back. Orochimaru-sama, she has intent to kill you and does not intend to heal you at all. Kabuto warned. A frown adorned the snake's on his face. Now, this is most unpleasant, Orochimaru hissed. Heh, you think I'll forgive you for wrecking the village? I will be Tsunade's Senju, Kodaime Hokage of Konohagakure, and today I shall execute you, traitor, declared Tsunade. Kabuto jumped forth to attack the Sanin, conjuring chakra scalpel to execute a precise assault. As she ducked, the Slug Princess committed. So you're an Irionin too, huh? First time I've seen chakra scalpels used offensively. Indeed, I'm honored for your acknowledgement, Tsunade-sama, replied Kabuto as they contacted towards two of her tendons and caused internal injuries, which caused her to fall on the floor. Tss, you're weaker than I thought, Tsunade-sama, Kabuto remarked with a sneer. With a sudden burst of energy, she sprung up and slapped him with enough force to throw him away. When he tried to stand up, he only found that he couldn't. When he tried to move his right arm, his left thigh tensed. The same applied to his left shoulder and right foot. I've underestimated her. I have to remember that she's still one of the Desentu no Sanin, thought Kabuto. Tsunade smirked and stood up, applying the mythical palm jutsu to herself. Still convinced that I'm weak? Tsunade asked, rhetorically, as she strode towards Kabuto. The Otonin's nervous system had went haywire due to the ration chakra Tsunade had sent into his body during the slap, resulting into the scrambling of signals that would have normally allowed him to control his body parts at will. But with time and concentration, Kabuto could relearn his body movements by knowing what thought moved which part, and that's exactly what he did. Gradually, he stood up. How did he recover so quickly, thought Tsunade. There's a reason I'm Orochimaru-sama's right-hand man, Tsunade-sama, boasted Kabuto as he reached a kunai in his pouch. Just as Tsunade was about to reach him, he stabbed his own hand with kunai, splattering blood all over her face. Due to her phobia, Tsunade started to tremble. So your fear of blood is true. I would have been greater respect for a fellow Irionin, especially when one renowned as the best world. But looks at how pathetic you are. A medic afraid of blood. Kabuto groaned. I'm afraid I have to subdue you and force you to heal Orochimaru-sama. Just as he was about to strike the Slug Princess, an orange flash appeared before him and blitzed him with a punch at the speed of flight, sending him flying back to his master. Kabuto spat out the blood from his mouth as well as some of the teeth that came dislodged from the punch. It's you, the assistant said in disbelief. What the hell was Uzumaki Naruto doing here? Two figures came to his side. Jiraiya and Shizune, the black-haired woman, quickly wiped the blood off from Tsunade's face. Uzumaki Naruto, Orochimaru greeted in a raspier voice. We sound like a knife scraping across the stone. How are your arms, Orochimaru? Taunted the Uzumaki. Why, thank you for the concern. Kill him, Kabuto. Hi, yelled Kabuto as he lunged the blonde. The man thrust his chakra scalpels into Naruto's chest, piercing through it easily and serving his heart arteries. The Uzumaki smirked before grabbing and restraining Kabuto's outstretched hands. Naruto's skin turned brown as he transformed into a small tree. What? Kabuto barely had the time to grasp just before the original burst out from the ground and delivered an uppercut just as he dispelled the tree, causing him to crash at the feet of his master. Looks like I have no choice. Aid me, Kabuto, ordered Orochimaru, who then rolled up his left sleeve, which revealed what Naruto recognized as summoning seal. Upon noticing what he was about to do, Tsunade and Jiraiya bit their own thumb and drew blood just as he did. Kabuto pumped as much as chakra as he could into Orochimaru seal, while the other two Sannin flashed through 5 seals. Simultaneously, 3 Sannin intoned Kyochisei no Jutsu. Smoke erupted from the 3 summoning arrays, revealing 3 huge summons. When it cleared, Jiraiya had summoned Gamabunta, while Tsunade had summoned Katsuyu, a slug which was her personal summon, and Orochimaru's side was a giant purple snake with yellow slitted eyes. The snake looked at the toad and the slug before saying to Orochimaru, "You should have a good reason for summoning me to fight Gamabunta and Katsuyu. I better receive 100 human sacrifices after this." They replied. Reptile hissed. Orochimaru smirked and replied, "Don't worry, Manda. I'll make this interesting for you." Gamabunta drew his tanto and looked at and took a puff out of his pipe. "Oh boy, it's a 3-way summon deadlock again. It's been a long while, Katsuyu." "Yes, Gamabunta-san, and I can't say I look forward to fighting Manda-san. But, well, here goes," the slug replied. As soon as the snake charged in a speed slither one would expect from something his size, the toad sage flashed through hand seals as he requested, "Bunta, give me some oil." The toad chief prepared the toad oil bullet just as Jiraiya completed his sequence of the fireball jutsu. "Katon, toad oil flamethrower," Jiraiya yelled as he expelled the fire chakra he had need in his lungs. It joined the stream of oil that Gamabunta pumped out of his mouth, which served as an accelerated to make the flames a firestorm. It engulfed Manda but everybody who knew a snake knew that it would die that easily. Naruto detected the presence of the snake underground and could sense that it was about to attack the slug. "Katsuyu-sama, watch out!" A second later, Manda burst out of the ground and sunk his fang into Katsuyu's neck, forgetting that the slug had no neck whatsoever. With her Katsuyu slug grade division, Tsunade summoned, divided into hundreds of smaller slugs, allowing her to escape Manda's grip. Naruto weaved some hand seals for a Moketan jutsu. After all, wood style was known as one nature transformation that could subdue beasts of all kind, and not for no reason at all. The trees produced had the ability to sap chakra from the prisoners of its user's will. Moketan. Giant hands emerged from the ground and grabbed hold Manda. Knowing how slippery a snake could be, Naruto decided not to take any chance and mix some natural energy with his chakra to initiate a special sealing technique. As he placed his hand in the ram seal, orange pigments appeared around his eyes. "Sage arts, care of the great god." Out of nowhere, 10 huge red tori manifested and fell from the sky, slamming down on the colossal snake and pinning him further. Manda hissed in anger, "Orochimaru, you'll pay for this humiliation." He was interrupted when Naruto slapped a hand on his scaly or purple skin and caused Jutsu Shiki to spread across the contact part. "Kyaku Fuin," Naruto called, applying a contract seal which served his contract summoning. "Ugh," Orochimaru cried, wincing as he knelt on the floor. Pain shot through his left arm as the summoning seal was forcibly erased. "Let's end this once and for all." "Kyochisei no Jutsu," Naruto yelled as he slammed his hand seal on the ground. Yanekyubi, a giant summoning array, spread from the palm, much bigger than those of the three beasts summoned before. Chakra smoke of epic proportion burst from space-time as the mightiest of the Biju was summoned outside of the seal. When it cleared, everyone except for Naruto were terrified as the fox was exactly as fearsome as they expected. He had thick orange fur, claws and fangs as huge as ramen stands, as well as piercing slitted red eyes, which held nothing but hatred and contempt for those who stood before him. He was a titanic being, easily towering over the other three Sanin and being 10 times their height and size. Could you imagine being in the presence of the personification of destruction itself, a beast that with a single swipe of any of the 9 tails could induce to tsunamis and roars that produced tornadoes, as well as a stomp that would rock the very earth with earthquakes? To top it all off, a single tail beast ball from him was all it took to change the landscape into something new. It was no wonder that almost everyone there was shivering in Kurama's presence. No thanks to the attack of Konoha about 13 years ago, which pretty much cemented the Kyuubi's reputation as a killing machine capable of devastation beyond belief. Ike Kurama, insisted Naruto. Red and blue orbs of chakra manifested from the air in front of the colossal fox, converging to form a purple sphere that increased exponentially in size as second passed. Kurama supercharged it with his chakra, forcing the beast drama to expand thrice to its current size. Though Manda couldn't sweat, he was sure as hell doing the beast equivalent. Orochimaru-sama, this is bad, we have to get away now, warned Kurama. Warned Kabuto as Kurama compressed and swallowed the tail beast ball. The right-hand man quickly formed hand seals for the distance teleportation technique that would bring him and his master away from the blast zone. To his horror, he realized that he was out of chakra. He found that he had none left to Kind, having spent quite a lot of transferring enough chakra to summon Manda earlier, and now they would be doomed. Kurama opened his mouth. All it took was a second for the highly compressed beam of energy to obliterate everything in front of him. Orochimaru, Kabuto, and Manda were all goners. Jiraiya paled as the display of the power. He was certainly glad that the Kyuubi was on their side. Thanks, Kurama, said Naruto with a smile as he patted the kitsune on his head like he was an overgrown plushie. The fox growled, I do not appreciate being treated like a toy, Naruto. Time for me to sleep. With that, the Kyuubi dispelled in a second burst of smoke. Naruto approached Tsunade with a grin. I believe you have something which now belongs to me, Tsunade-bachan, he said cheekily. The slunk princess was so happy that she had gotten rid of a threat that she decided to let him slide for once. Tsunade reached for her necklace and untied it. She walked behind Naruto and secured it around his neck. As she did, she said, I'm bequeathing this to you as a way of passing down Dan and Namaki's dreams in the hope that one day you will be able to fulfill them. Someday you better take this hat from me, Gaki. Got it? Naruto nodded, right before she ruffled his hair. This would be the last time she would entrust the Short Ice necklace to anyone anymore. Namaki had once wore it till he died. The Tsunade gave it to Dan before he too died. The only person who seemed to be unaffected by this curse was Tsunade. The fact that she chose to put faith in hopes and dreams one more time and entrust the necklace to Naruto meant something significant which had not gone unnoticed by Tsunade's assistant Shizune. The assistant was very happy for her sensei and was also grateful to the blonde for changing her teacher's mindset ever since the death of her uncle Dan had changed her. Let's head back to the inn now, suggested Jiraiya, to which he received nods of assent. Naruto was now pondering his next problem. After finding Tsunade and killing Orochimaru, he had to convince the goddamn Hokage to delay Sayuri's promotion and put his into effect, as well as propose to Sayuri as soon as possible. Today's 22nd July, which means that tomorrow, Naruto's eyes widened. The 23rd of July was Sayuri's birthday. But a coincidence, he supposed a part of his birthday gift to her. He could pop the question and it wouldn't be too awkward then. Now he had to acquire a birthday gift along with an engagement ring before returning to Konoha, which was about 6 hours away. Excuse me, I have something to get. I'll see you all back in the inn in an hour, right? Asked Naruto. Jiraiya raised an eyebrow but nodded. The blonde took off and went into town. What should he get her? He knew that usually Konoichi, especially her, would prefer to have more practical equipment such as kunai pouches and compared to aesthetic gifts. But to show his love for her, he had to treat her differently from every other girl in the world, get her a special gift that would be aesthetic in nature to show that he treated her as a girl rather than a Konoichi for that moment, especially when he was going to propose her. It was a gamble, but it would be worth it, the shot. He just hoped that it wouldn't end with him being castrated. He laughed to himself as he walked towards the jeweler. After all, he might as well get the birthday gift along with the ring. At, as his blonde transformed into a man, he entered the store. He was contemplating whether he would get a necklace or an earring, a pair of them. He decided that he should get her what a girl should get. She would still be a kunoichi, and a pair of stud earrings wouldn't get in the way as compared to the necklace. That would flail during moment. It would also increase her chances of accepting the gift, though it reminded aesthetically pleasing. Yes, sir. How can I help you? Asked one of the staff cheerfully. He looked at her and said, I would like to get a pair of earrings as well as an engagement ring. The staff eyes widened. All right, follow me. She led him to a glass case containing matching set of earrings and an engagement ring. They were various colors, but Naruto knew Sayuri well enough to know she would prefer black and red. He relayed his request to the shop assistants, who took out one of the sets. They were a beautiful pair of stud earrings and square ruby, bordered by black metal. The engagement ring itself consisted of 3 grey bands studded with small clearing diamond as accent stone, while the top had a red diamond, elegantly surrounded by black prongs. How much are these? Asked Naruto. 2 million ryu, sir, came the reply. The staff member was looking at him hopefully, knowing that the price was rather steep. Naruto smiled as he took out the necessary money and placed it on the table. I'll have it. Happily, the shop attendant placed the set in a small box and placed them in a bag before handing them over to her blonde customer. Thank you for your business, sir, and good luck for your proposal, said the blonde attendant, and Naruto left the shop with a smirk on his face. Whoever marries him is a lucky girl, thought the woman dreamily, unaware that the person she just served was a merely 12, as soon to be 13-year-old boy. Naruto got back to the inn and met up with the other 3, packing up their stuff before leaving for the leave. Along with the way, they chatted and Naruto recounted his life story and highlighting his request to incoming Hokage. Shizune was starstruck by his love life and gave a squeal when he said he planned on proposing tomorrow. Sound like a very interesting person, Sayuri, thought Tsunade as they neared the village. At the guardhouse, Izumo tensed as he recognized the people approaching the gate. It's Tsunade-sama, said Izumo to Kotetsu, who looked up from his book. As they walked down the streets, the group received numerous stares and murmurs. Jiraiya-sama and Tsunade-sama, why are they with that kid? Tsunade-sama is back. They ignored them and quickly got to the hospital ward where the Hiruzen was. They discussed the transition of power, while Naruto was frankly a lot more concerned about his proposal tomorrow, despite what he told himself earlier. Proposing was easier said to be done. Just thinking about it made him nervous. Finally, he returned to the Uzumaki residence, which now was spotless once he unpacked his things. Naruto prepared to go to sleep. Sitting on the bed, he stared at the jewelry box in front of him. A part of him was really afraid of the proposal was tantamount to a confession of his love. Any boy confessing would definitely be scared of rejection. This was made 10 times worse by his horrible childhood, where he had never been loved unconditionally, nor did he open his heart to someone. Bearing his feelings made him feel vulnerable, more so than any other person confessing. It did not require much explanation to deduce that Naruto was scared, not just for rejection but also losing a friend and a teammate. Even if she accepted because she had to in order to evade the CRA, Naruto knew that if Sayuri didn't like him, their marriage would be pointless, as she wouldn't be happy at all. Kurama growled in annoyance at the horrendous number of thoughts running through his head. Asura sighed and spoke up. Listen, Naruto-kun, love is not something you can use logic and reasoning to explain or make decisions. If you like her, then that's it. Nothing else should stop you from expressing it. Now go sleep. You need rest if you are going to be engaged tomorrow. Naruto heard that Asura said and thought he was still thinking about it. He decided to give up and go to sleep. His ancestor was right, and he really needed that rest. The blonde delicately placed the jewelry box onto his nightstand, and then he hit the pillow. Before he knew it, sleep engulfed his fatigued body, and he was out like a light. Wednesday, 23rd July. Naruto woke up brightly and early to prepare for his undertaking. Sayuri, on the other hand, decided to sleep on her birthday. The blonde put on a new outfit for his proposal, an orange shirt with a black jacket and black hand warmers, accepting it, navy blue pants and a red sash securing the jacket, completely the outfit. He sealed both sword into the storage scrolls, and he inscribed onto his hand warmer earlier during his trip with Jiraiya. Checking his shuriken pouch and kunai holster, he ensured they were stocked before he finally left the house with his gifts in hand. Asura mused that Naruto was merely distracting himself with the daily routine of gearing up, as he didn't yet possess the courage to confess and propose, he sighed. Would Naruto really be able to do it? Uchiha compound. After traveling all the way to the other side of the village, the blonde finally arrived at the Uchiha residence. He pushed the two flaps at the entrance apart and walked along the rocky path that led to the central house the clan had and his immediate family's abode. Naruto stopped at the front door and took a deep breath before shouting, "Sayuri-chan, are you awake?" Uzumaki could sense her chakra fluctuating as she woke up and got out of her bedroom. "I am awake by you now. But yeah, I'll be there in a minute," deadpan Sayuri as she quickly fixed her hair before opening the door. "Yo, Whiskers Chikun, why are you here?" asked Sayuri with a yawn. Naruto was just stunned by her sleeping clothes. She was dressed merely in a periwinkle romper, so sexily that it made him blush, but he tried to suppress it. Quickly, he forced his hand to return to his train of thoughts. "Happy birthday, Sayuri-chan," he said with a smile. "Thank you." A smirk then formed on her lips as she asked playfully, "Did you get me a gift?" Uzumaki nodded and brought out a box holding her earrings. "That's all?" questioned Sayuri, eyeing the small box. "Yup." He hesitated before replying, "Did not go unnoticed." "Thanks, Whisker-kun," she said happily, hugging the blonde. Both faces were flushed, but neither could see it as they were not facing each other. A million thoughts in a minute raced through Naruto's head. The proposal. What about it? Now was the time. He felt his mouth going dry, his throat parched. His palms started to sweat and got calmly when he drew back from the hug. The blonde's mind went back blank completely. Sayuri turned back and said, "See you around then." With that, she closed the door. Inwardly, she cursed herself. What was she thinking? Why did she hug him? The Uchiha was ashamed of herself for not controlling her emotions. Meanwhile, Naruto was already walking away from the Uchiha compound, disappointed at himself for losing her courage. And the most important moment, Kurama was berating the Uzumaki for his cowardliness and letting his anxiety get the better of him. And while Asura was more sympathetic for his incarnate, his view was essentially the same as Kitsune. Dejected, the blonde made his way back to the Uzumaki compound. With Sayuri, once her embarrassment had evaporated, she decided to open her gift and see what he got her. The Uchiha smiled at the set of earrings. They reminded her of her childhood, back when their mother brought her to get her earring pierced during her birthday. After the clan massacre, she had stopped wearing earrings as they reminded her of the event, but now she was solely reminded of the good times. It brought her memories back to the day when she had first met Naruto, and smiled fondly as she stroked the earrings. Finally, she decided to put them on, after brushing her hair and teeth, and into her usual combat gear. Out of nowhere, she saw shadows flashing by her shoji screen. Instantly, her guard went up and she crept to the door. In one fluid movement, the girl slid open the door. A figure cloaked in yellow with a mask resembling the Anbu stabbed her in the stomach with a tanto, only for her to melt into nothingness. "Genjutsu," the operative said. "Taicho, she's outside the backyard," reported one of the subordinates who wore the black cloaks. The man nodded and all 10 intruders ran in the direction of the field. Standing there waiting them was none other than the Uchiha Sikon herself, Dojutsu primarily and ready to fight. She's called "Anbu, you better have a good reason for coming here, much less stabbing me on my birthday." The man in the yellow cloak, seemingly the leader, replied in monotone. "Uchiha Sayuri, come with us peacefully. Downsama demands your presence." "No, they aren't Anbu. Anbu report only to Hokage-sama, not someone else, and the Sandam certainly wouldn't order his men to stab me." The Uchiha replied, "Stabbing me doesn't seem like a very good way to get me to come with you. Uchiha Sayuri, we have orders to neutralize and take you by force if we have to." "Try me," she said wordlessly. The leader swung his sword hand forward, the universal signal to launch an attack. The 10 operatives lunged at her in midway. Time to try this technique, she thought as she slammed her hands into a tiger hand seal. She compressed as much as Katon chakra as she could and pumped it out of modifying the sharp shape transformation. Fire style, create fireball jutsu, fire dragon jutsu. The Uchiha expelled powerful blast of dragon head shaped fire upwards at them. As expected, they avoided, but it jumped away. She wielded more to emerge and take off at them, giving them a hard time avoiding at all. Eventually, the attack ceased, but all 10 operatives were still alive. "You have poor aim, Uchiha Sayuri," remarked the leader. The girl smirked as the sky darkened. "Isn't it a little preposterous to think I was aiming at you for all?" The heat produced by her technique warmed the atmosphere, creating ascending air currents which formed in the sky. Thunder rolled across the heavens, bringing rain along with it in the land. With Naruto, suddenly sense of forbidding hit him, and he reached the Uchiha Uzumaki compound front gates. He was about to have a nice walk as sunny weather became stormy and quickly. Viseri, "Chidori!" Her left hand sparked and crackled with Raiton chakra. The leader emotionally bride. We will bring you into custody. The 10 men began to walk towards the Uchiha as a purple humanoid wrapped around her. The moment they were close to, she announced, "This is my new jutsu, Kirin." She raised her hands in the sky as if she was making an offering. Seemingly on cue, lightning gathered from the sky and manifested into a colossal dragonoid creature. When it roared, thunderclap boomed. Even the operatives, who were trained not to be emotion, felt fear in terrifying sight. "Now be gone with the thunderclap." Sayuri swung her hand down at the intruder and sealed their fate. The celestial beast shot up from the cloud and headed straight towards the trespasser. At 100,000th of a second, didn't even stand a chance against the S-rank jutsu. With an instant, the natural power of heaven obliterated all men, vaporizing them. The surrounding parts of the Uchiha clan compound had been reduced to rubble as well. With Naruto, Uzumaki was shocked as he saw the lightning beast from the sky, and even more so when he shot towards the Uchiha clan compound, producing a gigantic explosion. Immediately he knew that Sayuri was in trouble and swiftly ran towards her house. Once again he cursed the long distance between their residence. With Sayuri dispelled her Susanoo and quickly returned to her house. She was certain her S-rank technique had drawn the attention of the village, including reinforcement for the Danzo-led Anbu. The Uchiha realized that the higher-ups have finally decided to come after her for the CRA. The time to leave was now, or else she would be bound by the CRA and wouldn't be able to venture her clan. After making sure she left nothing valuable behind, she exited the compound swiftly and made her way to the village gates. She rushed past the guards, barely giving the two Chunin glance. They were about to stop her, and when they collapsed onto the desk and went to sleep. With Naruto, he approached the Uchiha compound and noted that a large part of it had been destroyed, more probably by the certain creature he saw earlier. "Sayuri!" Naruto yelled repeatedly in vain. Receiving no response, he ran through the houses but found no one. Closing his eyes, Naruto focused detecting her chakra signature. He did not receive any signal at all. The Uzumaki grunted and further increased his range, extended beyond the village. He gasped her chakra signature, registering on his sensory range. Why was she out of the village? Naruto wasted no time and sprang after the Uchiha. Sayuri was pretty quickly to already passed by the neighboring towns and forest. The blonde chased her through Baran Strait and lands and for more forest before she finally stopped at the border before the land of fire and land of sound. The border consisted of a mountain range and a forest of each side, with only a single passage through. A giant lake in the size of the leaf trailing down a waterfall into a valley. On the both sides of the waterfall, there were tall statues, one of Hashirama on the land of fire, and one of the Madara on the land of sound, symbolizing his defection. Both statues had their hands in the seal of confrontation, facing each other and memorializing of their battle here, which shaped what was known as the Valley of the End. When Naruto finally chased Sayuri here, she was already on the head of Madara's statue. "Wait!" Naruto shouted. Uchiha stopped in her tracks and turned back to see her favorite blonde as expected. He had chased her all the way here without rest, despite her head starts. Naruto was slightly surprised to see her wearing the earrings he had purchased. "What is it, Naruto?" she questioned without emotions. "Why are you leaving the village, Sayuri?" he asked in desperation. "Isn't it obvious? I have become a Chunin as soon as Tsunade promotes me and will be bound by the CRA. Even if I don't become Chunin, it is inevitable, and that I have turned 18. Just now Danzo's men attacked me and tried to bring me back. Do you expect me to just sit there and give it to them?" Naruto flattered, cursing himself for not asking earlier. "No, but I have a solution." The blonde eyed her at once. His emotion overwhelmed his body. It was now or never. Dropping to one knee, he asked, "Uchiha Sayuri, will you marry me?" he asked. As this is where I'm going to be leaving this story off, guys. I hope you like this one, and if you do, please leave a like and subscribe to my channel if you like the content of the channel. As this is Apollo Uchiha, and I'm signing out. Peace.